Inside a massive barn in Pasadena, California, hundreds of volunteers are meticulously painting, gluing, snipping, and arranging thousands of flowers for the return of the annual Rose Parade on New Year's Day.
We're here at Rosemont, where you're starting to see floats for this year's Rose Parade being decorated with artistic entertainment services. We literally use hundreds of thousands of flowers on the floats, along with hundreds of volunteers every day to get the floats ready for New Year's Day.
The preparations are in the final stretch for 43 floats that will participate in this year's parade, which was cancelled last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have 43 amazing floats. I don't know if I could say I have a favorite float, but even as you look around this float barn today, you're going to see these amazing floats that are being built, being decorated by all of our volunteers, and they really do exemplify that hope and joy of the new year with these incredible floral displays that are a signature of the Rose Parade.
A volunteer from Pico Rivera, California, said it's incredible to watch the floats come to life.
If you've never been here, you should come. It's incredible to be able to see what kind of natural things you can use to make a float come to life. It looks kind of plain and ugly in the beginning, but once you start adding everything from lentils to rice to onion seed to pumpkin seeds to roses, it makes it literally look like art, and it's beautiful. I think it's incredible.
The parade comes amid a surging tide of COVID-19 cases led by the Omicron variant that US health officials on Thursday warned would threaten major disruptions across the US.
You know, it takes hundreds of volunteers to get our floats ready and get them decorated. This year with COVID, we've limited the number of volunteers working at any time to ensure the health and safety of everybody in the building. But they're doing a terrific job in getting our floats ready for this year.
For the second day in a row, the United States had a record number of new cases based on the 7-day average, with more than 290,000 new infections reported each day. At least 18 states and Puerto Rico have set pandemic records for new cases. Maryland, Ohio, Washington, D.C. also saw record hospitalizations as overall US COVID hospitalizations rose 27%. In order to work within the pandemic, parade organizers required participants to either provide proof of vaccination or negative COVID-19 tests within a 72-hour window. 91% of participants have been vaccinated, said Executive Director and CEO of Pasadena Tournament of Roses Association.
For this year, we have more than 6,500 parade participants in this year's parade. Back in the fall, we determined that all parade participants would have to be vaccinated or would have to show a 72-hour COVID test. As of today, 91% of our parade participants have provided proof of vaccination. So they've really risen to the challenge. They've gotten vaccinated to stay as safe and healthy as possible. And they're really excited to be here in Pasadena for this year's parade.
Organizers have also limited the amount of volunteers working at any time to minimize the risk of transmission. Elsewhere in the barn, volunteers are keeping their heads down, focusing on putting on those finishing touches.
Just seeing how floats are put together has turned out to be really interesting because of the details involved and the logistics and all of the volunteers. I mean, it's a huge production. I had no idea.
This is my first year attending the Rose Bowl preparation. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. If you have a love of nature, flowers, I would suggest that you come and volunteer at least once in your lifetime to see this amazing operation.
This year marks the 133rd anniversary of the Rose Parade. The 5.5-mile route begins at Green Street and Orange Grove Boulevard in Pasadena and ends at Villa Street.
This year will mark the 133rd anniversary of the Rose Parade. And it is an American tradition where Americans wake up every year on New Year's Day, turn on their television, and start the year off with the Rose Parade. We're also seen in 120 countries around the world, and so it really is a global tradition of bringing in the new year with hope and joy.
All ticket holders for the parade must wear a mask as well.